Now for the next step of the process, I need to magnify the screen because I can't digitize down at that level. I can't even really digitize it that one. That's better. And I know it's big and I apologize, but I really do need to be able to see. Now I need to get from there into here. I'm going to drop off my magnifying tool and pick up my run line tool and press my numeral 3 key. That's your best ally in this program. It prevents you getting unwanted tie stitches. And I know everybody squawks they want tie stitches. Honestly, you don't need them unless you are doing a design which has got a lot of colour changes in, and yes, then you do need a tie stitch. But if you're only using a minimum of colours, no. You make certain that each new object follows on cleanly from the last one, and you use travel lines. It's less wear and tear on your embroidery machine. It's less wear and tear on your fabric, because you don't have those horrible little clumps of stitches. When you get designs where you've got hundreds of trims, you know darn well that the digitizer is not a digitizer. Okay, there is my travel line. I just want to come just inside the black area. Now, even though I'm going to be stitching along the edge of the black area, I am not going to be cutting there. I'm going to be cutting further in. I haven't got my ruler available to me. The distance from there, that's 2 millimeters. Just let me tell that generate. That's it. I need my ruler. Okay, distance from here to there, and if you look over in the right hand column, you'll see it says 2.2 millimeters. That is very narrow. It's 0.079 of an inch. Okay, this little bit here, if I move this into this line, which is where most of you would be tempted to lay your line, it's now only 1.6 millimeters. Far too narrow for cut work. Far too narrow. For cut work you need a good 3 millimeters. And I really do mean a good 3 millimeters. To prevent your fabric collapsing on the edge here. I bought a collection of cutwork designs a long time ago from a lady who used the Artista software in Russia, and they weren't cheap. They were very expensive, and I went to stitch them out on my machine. My machine sat there and cried. It could not make the satin stitching. It couldn't even handle the run line stitch. She'd made a huge design and she shrunk it to fit a small hoop. She hadn't even thought about the sizing of the stitching. I don't think I carried that set forward with me, and I think it was on one of my computers that either got eaten by a Trojan or I blew up. Because I'm very good at destroying computers. Now you can see the width of that. I'm going to drop the scale on this so you get an idea. You see how narrow that is? And this is about 1:1 now. Sugar knobs. I took my plastic ruler into the other room so that my son could measure something, and I haven't brought it back in. That's a pity. That's incredibly narrow. This little hole here, I've got to seriously think about where I'm going to put my satin stitching, because I don't want a great big heavy thick line of satin stitching, but I don't want something which is going to allow the fabric to fray everywhere after 2 washes, or even worse, 1 wash. So let's blow this back up and bring the magnifying glass down to here. That's it. Now, That looks enormous, doesn't it? You're seeing my subdivisions here. That's 2 millimeters from that corner to that corner. That's 1 millimeter. 1, 2, and I don't know how they work this out, because this says it's 3, but there's only 1, 2 squares. 2 and a bit. And I'm a bit under, so anyways. Hopefully I've illustrated what I mean, and you won't be tempted to slavishly follow the lines right on top. So, let's get back down here. Numeral 3 key won't work unless you've got a tool, Maggie. Okay, and I drop a node up to there. I curve that up a bit. I drop a node up to here. I curve that up a bit. I drop a node up to here and just very gently shape that. I drop a node down to here and I shape that. And you'll notice I'm within the grey, I'm not in the white. I come down to this one. And I come back. I doubt very much if I'm going to get all the way with the one jump, so that's why I've put 2 in. I carry this further than I want it to go. I shape that down. And I bring that to there. Okay. Now I can come to here and 1, 2, 3, because I've got to set myself up now for my next hole. And I might as well use my setting up. I just want to move that here. To aid me. Oops, come on, around you come. There we go. Right, as I was saying, I might as well use my trip back to aid me when I'm ready for doing the next stage. I'll explain what I mean by that in a moment. And I bring that and I take it into here. Okay. A node down to here. A node up to here. Curve that up a little. I doubt if I get all the way with one node, but you never know. Well, I can travel miles with one node, but it's the amount of curve that distance will give me, and it's actually given me enough curve. And I come back to here and just raise that slightly, not an awful lot, and I come out further than that one. And bring that up to that point. And I'm going to tell that all enter. Generate stitches. Okay. So let's pull out and have a look at this, and then I'll explain what I'm doing next. But I'll do what I'm going to do next off video, because otherwise it takes up so many videos to get this made. Right. You can see now I've demarcated my hole and this one. I haven't worried about putting anything in to tell me where these are. That doesn't interest me at the moment. I've also laid in the outside trace line on that and here of this inner shape. Now I've brought my node up to a point where I can put that one in, and I can go around this leaf, because that's going to be the mark at where I start my outside stitching. This is going to be my reinforcement line for when I've cut my fabric, because my fabric is going to be a bit bigger than that. So I'm going to put this shape in and these lines in. For instance, I'll bring that one down as far as here and do a little jump into my shape and demarcate where the hole is going to go. I'll do that off video and I'll bring you back in. In fact, I might have done all of these by then, because I need to get this finished to tell you the next step, and it's just about the most important step in the whole design, because it's something you may never have done before and you may never have thought of doing before, or if you have, you haven't been quite certain how to do it. So I'll see you in the next video.